Yes, guys, welcome back to the Manchester United agenda, the United agenda. My name is Mike Green. If you haven't, seen me before, I am new on the United agenda, and what I will be doing is giving you a breakdown, tactical breakdown of everything that happened during the game, for the game that has just gone. And obviously, in this case, in this stream or video, it will be the Manchester derby. So I'll be breaking down the Manchester derby, where it was won, how the game was played, etc., etc. If you are new to the channel, drop us a like. Please make sure to comment and subscribe as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And let's just get straight into it. Let's get straight into the derby. So as you can see, this is how both teams were set up. And I don't know why that has gone like that. Just going to change that. So Manchester United did play a back five. David De Gea in goals, Luke Shaw, Lindelof, Maguire, Bailly, Wan-Bissaka, McTominay, Fred, Fernandes, Ronaldo and Greenwood. Man City played a 4-3-3 with Ederson in goals, Walker, Stones, Diaz, Cancelo, Rodri, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Jesus, Bernardo Silva is more of a false nine, and Phil Foden. So, looking at both teams, Man City are going to have a lot of the ball, pre-match. Man United are going to sit back and sort of allow City to press, push them on and push United back, further back than, what they are looking to deploy in the game anyway. So from the first 10, 15 minutes, what we did see was this. We saw Walker pushing forward, and obviously Jesus was pushing forward as well. We saw Bernardo Silva get in between McTominay and Fred. De Bruyne was getting in between these areas, Gundogan as well. Rodri sitting back, and then Stones and Diaz, like I say, were just so far forward. They weren't deep whatsoever. Man City were deploying this on Man United pretty much from the very first whistle. United was sat so far deep, and they were just they couldn't get out basically with how intense the Man City press was. When they did get out, David De Gea with the ball, he's got three options: Lindelof, Maguire, Bailly. He's got basically nowhere to play it, because if he plays it out to Lindelof, then you've got Kyle Walker pressing Lindelof. If the ball does manage to get to Shaw, then you've got Jesus pressing him. And I think that was a large part. Actually, it was more this way around, wasn't it? But I think from the game anyway, United were always looking to dominate. City, were looking to dominate the play. They were looking to control the game, control the tempo. And when they did get the ball, City, you saw Rodri marshalling Ronaldo and Greenwood, not letting them get further forward. De Bruyne was getting on the ball and sort of running in these pockets. We know McTominay and Fred are not good CDMs. And they were just getting overrun, because when McTominay had the ball, Kyle Walker was stopping the lane to Shaw. Jesus was making sure that ball wasn't going back to Lindelof. And if it was, Jesus would have been there to intercept it. Then De Bruyne, and it was just... Basically, when Man City were pressing, it was a high press. And when we pressed, if the ball was with Ederson, Ronaldo would be chasing it. Mason Greenwood would be up there as well. Luke Shaw, not Kyle Walker. Luke Shaw was getting further forward, but then Walker was getting back. And it just seemed like United wanted City to attack, but when they were attacking, they just didn't defend. And I think a lot of Manchester United fans this season have seen this, where teams have got the ball in dangerous areas, put Ronaldo and Mason Greenwood back. But it felt like Ronaldo was the striker and Mason Greenwood was the right winger and Luke Shaw was the left winger. That's what I think. This is the sort of formation it seemed like in game. It seemed like sort of this, and the right-hand side was basically so stale, because Greenwood was getting up this side and Wan-Bissaka wasn't allowed to get far forward because he was tucking into Bailly. And I think this comes again to the centre-backs. You've got Lindelof and Maguire, who between them have not got too much pace. So they have to get protected by McTominay and Fred in front of them, which means Eric Bailly has to come across to make sure Phil Foden don't cut in, because if Phil Foden cuts in there, he's got a shot on goal, because he's either going to beat David De Gea, he's going to look to dink it into Jesus. Cancelo is making the overlap run ahead of Wan-Bissaka, so that could always be a danger. But like I say, it is so intense, the press that Man City have. If De Gea has the ball, Sorry about that. If De Gea has the ball, he's got Lindelof, Maguire, Bailly, bring Luke Shaw back. He's got Lindelof, Maguire, Bailly, Wan-Bissaka, and Luke Shaw to try and play the ball to. But ultimately, he's got no one to pass it to. The ball is so much in this, half of the pitch that when the ball does get up to Ronaldo or maybe Mason Greenwood, because in attack, it was this. And I don't think a lot of Man United fans would disagree. When we were attacking, the shape of the pitch was like this. Mason Greenwood was over on that right-hand side. Wan-Bissaka was only as far as here. Luke Shaw was up here. McTominay and Fred were sat back. So ultimately, what you've got is 4 against Man City's whole midfield, apart from Bernardo Silva, Jesus and Foden. Because Jesus is over on this side, Foden is over on that side. And what you've got is a back 6. You've got McTominay, Fred, Lindelof, Bailly, Maguire, and David De Gea, obviously. All of them are basically stopping 3 Man City players. And what was happening is McTominay and Fred, they were wanting to push forward because, as a centre mid, you want to push forward. McTominay wants to make that late dash run into the box or into City's half and sort of deploy that sort of area of the pitch. And Fred probably wants to do that as well. We saw, Fred's best football against Leeds, in the games we've played Leeds is getting into the box. He scored a goal against Leeds. I think he scored twice. No, McTominay scored 2 last season at Old Trafford, and Fred scored this season at Old Trafford. And it's these type of things they want to do. Fred and McTominay want to make these late dashes into the box, into the opposition half, and we're not allowing them to do that because we've got Lindelof, Maguire. Take Bailly out of the equation because Bailly's quite quick. Lindelof and Maguire, who are so slow that it limits McTominay and Fred to sort of play like this. They're basically holding hands with Lindelof and Maguire because they know they're not quick at all. And then when Bernardo Silva gets the ball, what will happen is De Bruyne will make the run, Gundogan will make the run, Walker and Cancelo will make the overlap. And then what you've got is Lindelof will try and push out. Lindelof will try and push out to Walker. Bailly will try and push out to Cancelo. And then you've got three City players on the edge of the box in Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne. You've got Jesus trying to cut inside. You've got Foden trying to cut inside. And they're just dominating. They're absolutely dominating the play. One thing I do want to actually touch on is the shape that City had, because I think this was more upsetting than anything else was the shape that City played. So just put everyone back in position again. And what happened, and I really don't like the way this happened in the game because I want us to always be on the front foot. I don't want the opposition to be on the front foot. I want it to be Man United on the front foot. And ultimately, it wasn't, because what we had is when City have the ball, they're in a position where they've got so much room, they can do whatever the hell they like because of one certain aspect of the game. They know that Manchester United are not going to create with the ball. They know that. They know that, don't they? They know Manchester United are not going to create with the ball because we're set up to defend. That's pretty much what it is. We're set up like this. Luke Shaw is basically he is basically a left and right back because there's no wing back element to it. Fernandes is basically dropping in here. McTominay and Fred, like I say, they want to push on, but they're being forced to stay there. Ronaldo and Greenwood are dropping off. And then what you've got is Stones. Stones plays the ball to Diaz. Diaz to Cancelo. He can play that ball into Gundogan because he knows Mason Greenwood's not going to press. He knows Fred is not going to run from midfield. Fernandes will. Fernandes will chase anything. If balls to Ederson, he's there. Balls to Stones, he's there. Diaz, he's there. Rodri, he's there. Fernandes will press anything. But one thing I will say with pressing is you've got to be structured in your press. There is no point in Fernandes, for example, running to Walker, going over to that left-hand side to press Cancelo, pressing De Bruyne or Gundogan in the midfield. Because then what you've got, if he goes to De Bruyne in the midfield, De Bruyne plays that ball into Gundogan, and then Gundogan could run through there because there's no Fernandes. That's why I mean about a collective press. And what I mean by a collective press is Ronaldo pushes Walker back, Greenwood pushes Cancelo back, Fernandes goes into that midfield, and then everyone pushes up an extra 5 yards. And that allows us to become more expansive, more able to attack, because we've got more players in the opposition half. McTominay and Fred, like I say, they want to burst on there. So if they can push up to the halfway line, and when we get Varane in the team, this is what I expected it to look like. I expected it to be all further, like I said, 5-10 yards forward because of Rafael Varane's recovery pace. In this team, you have got no recovery pace apart from Eric Bailly. So Eric Bailly should be the one pushing forward because you know he can get back and sweep up anything that City may deploy from their attacking line through the likes of Jesus and Foden. But what would happen is Maguire would push forward, City win the ball back with Bernardo, and then he's in front of Harry Maguire. Whether Jesus is getting in front of Luke Shaw and whether Foden gets in front of Wan-Bissaka, you've got to drop 10 yards further back. Eric Bailly's got to drop here. Lindelof has got to drop back here. And you're basically, City are forcing you back because Bernardo Silva is then in a position where he's got so much room to work with. Harry Maguire, whether Harry Maguire is going to catch up to Bernardo Silva, I don't know. Whether he gets in this position to close Bernardo Silva down, I don't think he does. So I think Bernardo Silva runs, Harry Maguire tries to chase him, but he just can't. But what I would like to see us play is, yes, Luke Shaw is going to get forward. I want Ronaldo in this area, in between Stones and Rodri. I want Mason Greenwood in this area, between Diaz and Rodri. And I want Fernandes conducting it. And I want Aaron Wan-Bissaka forcing Phil Foden back. That's what I want. I want Wan-Bissaka forcing Foden back. And on the opposite side, I want Luke Shaw forcing Jesus back. But it just doesn't happen because of the slow nature of our attack. Whether I would change it, I think I would change it because I wouldn't have 5 in the back in the first place. But what I would do is I'd make sure City don't have any room on the ball. And the way you do that, it's a very simple game, football. The way you do that is you allow players on the ball that are technically not as gifted as the players that, you know, you don't want De Bruyne, you don't want Gundogan, you don't want Bernardo Silva on the ball. If you give the ball to someone like a Kyle Walker, if you let Kyle Walker bomb down this side, Shaw wins that ball back and we're on the attack. But what you don't want is what I just said. You don't want Kevin De Bruyne having the ball in this area of the pitch and having Rodri making a late dash, Bernardo Silva making a late dash, because then Kevin De Bruyne, he's got the technical ability to play a 20, 30 yard diagonal for a Phil Foden, basically. Phil Foden gets in that area, De Bruyne dinks it over to Foden, and it's a goal. The way they scored the first goal, City, was very much down the left-hand side. Foden, Cancelo, if I could get it. Foden and Cancelo basically taking the mick out of Wan-Bissaka because of what I said. Lindelof pushes across, Maguire pushes across, Bailly pushes across, Wan-Bissaka tucks in. And ultimately, Phil Foden is like, well, I'm just going to stay as far wide as I can, because Aaron Wan-Bissaka is not pushing him in a little bit. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is not going to push out to me, so I'll stay just on this side and just basically do whatever I want on this side of the pitch. I can play it back to Cancelo. Ball comes into Cancelo. Foden crosses, by own goal. And that's the first goal. And ultimately, like I say, Man City don't use this right-hand side much. They could have it this side with Jesus and Cancelo against Luke Shaw, but for some reason, it's heavily down the left-hand side, probably because of this area here. Everyone moves across, Wan-Bissaka tucks in, and no one's going to come out there. Fred is more over here. McTominay is sort of there to try and make sure Jesus doesn't push into that area. But that was the first goal. Second goal was, again, I don't want to blame David De Gea for it because I don't think it was his fault. But what happens is the ball gets played into decent areas. Again, it's Phil Foden and Cancelo down this side. Bernardo Silva, I think it was more Ronaldo was here. Mason Greenwood was probably a bit further forward. Fernandes, and I think everyone was just a little bit further forward. Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire, because it was actually sort of this, wasn't it? Because it was Luke Shaw and Maguire next to each other. And what happens? Ball comes in. Bernardo Silva in between Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire gets in, and it's a goal. And ultimately, you see it coming because you see Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw. They're not at the races at all. They seem like they're not confident, these two. And when you have two players on one side of the pitch that are not confident, I'll tell you what. If Ismaila Sarr, if Ollie plays a back five against Watford, pretend this is Ismaila Sarr, because Ismaila Sarr is going to get right in between Shaw and Maguire, and he's going to absolutely rinse them if they're still low on confidence. And that's one thing I don't want to see, because I know for a fact that Ismaila Sarr will look at that and think, well, I've got a chance against Shaw and Maguire because they're not in form. They're not confident and stuff like that. But there is my opinion. Like I say, there is my tactical breakdown on it. My thoughts on how the game was won and lost. I went through the goals as well. What I will do when I do these shows is I will break it down in terms of the whole game, and then I'll break down each goal because I think that gives you a better understanding on how the goal was scored, what could have been done to prevent the goal and stuff like that. If you have enjoyed this video, like I say, like, comment and subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure to subscribe to the United Agenda quality channel. I'm so glad to be working on it. And like I say, guys, Manchester United did lose to City. There was a lot of reasons why in that game, but it could have been solved. It wasn't solved, unfortunately. But like I say, if you have enjoyed, like, subscribe and comment. It's been an absolute pleasure doing this tactical breakdown. I'll be doing more of these. And just thanks to the United Agenda for having me on.